Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing my 3 recent trips in Spain with my honest impressions. So I went to Madrid in May and it was such a unique experience, absolutely unexpected. I will share why. Then I visited Menorca. It was my second time on the island, but this time I get to see much more. Loved it. And I went to Tomelloso, a town in central Spain. So I'm pretty sure you have not heard of it, so keep watching. You know, I visit Madrid almost every month. I love Madrid. I also often get invited to events by Madrid City Hall as international press. But the truth is, I just need an excuse to visit Madrid. I love Madrid. I always find a new museum. Once I've visited main landmarks in Madrid, I've actually started to enjoy the city way more every time I visit because there are so many hidden gems, cute coffee spots, bookshops. I love Madrid. But I've always been avoiding Madrid in May. And the reason why is that in May, Madrid has its main festivities. San Isidro, Fiesta de San Isidro. So it's the patron saint of Madrid, and usually local authorities organize lots of events. So for some reason I thought the city would be so crowded that I would never enjoy it. And this year I got invited to the press event and I absolutely loved Madrid in May. First of all, if you have never visited Madrid in May, you need to go and see roses in full bloom in Retiro Park. I never thought there would be so many. I visited Retiro Park many times, but roses are in full bloom only in May. It was such a romantic fantasy moment. Loved it. And then I also went to a Chotis dance class. Chotis is a traditional dance. You will see locals wearing special outfits and dancing it on the streets during San Isidro festivities. Actually, the class is free, but you need to enroll. Madrid City Hall usually publishes the official agenda for all the festivities and you need to have it. I will leave you the link to my post about Madrid in May, and once they will share with me the next year's agenda, I will update it. So if you plan to visit Madrid in May, there will be so many events, so many concerts. It's spectacular. Hopefully next year I will be able to return to Madrid in May and see more, because yes, I visited in the beginning of May when they had the event. But then I was heading to Armenia, to Cyprus. I had my international trips, so I was not able to attend the concerts, and I hope next year I will not plan anything for May and I will just dedicate May to Madrid. My next big surprise was Menorca. I mean, I visited Mallorca, I visited Ibiza, I visited Formentera, and all of those Balearic islands were unique, but Menorca was the one I was missing, meaning I visited as a cruise stop, so I had a day in Mahon once. I liked it, but I couldn't help the feeling that I did not fully discover the place, and this time it was such a surprise. If you ask me whether I would return to Mallorca or to Menorca, I would choose Menorca. First of all, the locals are nicer to tourists. You know, Mallorca suffers from lots of tourists, so they're not really nice. Last time, the taxi driver in Mallorca refused to take us to the place he was supposed. He said basically, no, I just want to stay around the city center. This is illegal. Locals are extremely frustrated in Mallorca over the recent years. Many people in Mallorca cannot afford buying or renting flats there because of international travelers and expats and people who buy second homes in Mallorca. But again, I feel like this is something Spanish government should manage better and local government should manage better. In recent years, there were lots of protests in Mallorca against tourists, and this is the real attitude of many locals in Mallorca. I'm always hesitating lately to recommend Mallorca because I've had different experiences. As I've said, I had a taxi driver who refused to take us where he was supposed to take us only because there were like a few cruise ships in La Palma. So he decided he would earn more money if he would stay around the city center, and he didn't want to take us outside. Again, in Spain, this is illegal and we could have called the police, but you know, you don't want to do those things on your vacation. So yes, Mallorca is honestly quite controversial because yes, there are so many amazing things, but the attitude of the locals lately is just, it's not something I feel like I want to recommend to other people. So yeah, personally choosing between Mallorca and Menorca, I would go to Menorca. Unless you're visiting for the first time, obviously Mallorca has more things to do, or you are visiting like in the really off season, meaning November, December. November, December, Menorca will be sad. But I visited in April And it was okay. We were a bit unlucky with the weather. Just 2 days before we got to Menorca, it was already the beach season. So the weather was amazing. And when we got there, it was quite cold. Like, I was wearing the jacket and I wouldn't mind like having a light sweater. Meaning that's the problem with April in Menorca. This is an off season where you can get lucky and have an amazing weather without tourists at all, because the beaches, Cala Macarella, Cala and Turqueta, some of the most picture-perfect beaches I've seen in the whole of Spain. Those was so beautiful. But what also surprised me is Camí de Cabals. This is actually like a loop across the whole of the island. And yeah, locals used it to patrol the island by horse many years ago, and now it's like a hiking trail. It's so cool because you can jump in at any place and just go hiking. And yes, I'm not sure about the summer because there is no shadow, but in April it was stunning. There was no one around and you just got those coastal views, really beautiful. And what I also did not expect from Menorca were the ancient ruins. Menorca has Talayotic ruins, so it was interesting. These were not the most spectacular ruins I've seen in Spain, obviously not like Roman ruins and Roman theaters, but still an interesting addition because I thought Menorca had almost nothing. From the small towns, obviously Ciutadella is really beautiful. Yeah, and another highlight was ancient stone quarry near Ciutadella. Oh my god, this place looked like it was in Egypt or India. So yes, I highly recommend Menorca. If this island was never on your bucket list, it should be. The last place I wanted to discuss from my recent trips was Tomelloso. Tomelloso is a town in central Spain. Basically, you can visit it on a day trip from Madrid, on the road between Madrid and Valencia, or as part of the Don Quixote road trip, because yes, Cervantes based his book in central Spain, in Castilla-La Mancha. So all of the major events, characters, everything happens in Castilla-La Mancha in central Spain. So this is a great idea for the literary road trip in Spain. The only warning, don't go in summer because again, there is no shadow. It's really, really, really hot. But otherwise, it's an interesting road trip idea in Spain. And Tomelloso surprised me a lot. This was the press event by local authorities. I've heard about Tomelloso, but honestly, before this trip, I never visited. And we got to see the winery. We got to see the caves. We got to visit a local museum. There was a famous Spanish artist called Antonio Lopez Torres. And he was from Tomelloso, though he lived in Madrid. And after he died, he left all of his paintings to his hometown, which I find stunning. And we also had some really nice food. Like the food in Castilla-La Mancha, it's different from the coastal Spain. Really interesting if you've never tried the food in central Spain. So overall, Tomelloso was a big surprise. It was probably one of my biggest discoveries in Spain recently because I've been on the road nearby many, many times and I never even thought of making a stop because I was like, there is nothing in Tomelloso. And yes, this is just a proof that if you know where to search, there is always something. So the Tomelloso blog, where I will share the exact places, I will also leave it in the description. So this was all for today. I usually group my Spain trips by 3. So see you next week and I will share more places in Spain that I visit, more recommendations, more local tips, and my honest impressions.